from Cross Point, and happy Wednesday to you. I hope that you are doing well this morning. I am actually in the sanctuary. I'll flip my camera around so you can see. Just kind of walking around. It looks a lot different here. Chairs aren't set up like they usually are because they don't need to be set up. You can see kind of in the back there, that's become a staging area. Our new camera gear and equipment came, and those are the boxes. There's the cameras. Here's the rest of the audio equipment, and over there's the communion table, which has been setting out the whole time. But anyway, while I'm back here at the tech booth, I just want to apologize for what happened on Sunday, and it was rough. I mean, if you actually made it to the end, you probably should get the crown of life because our audio was just sabotaged. And we got a lot of helpful comments on the chat stream. But unfortunately, we were not able to fix the problem. When we were in over our heads tech-wise, and what was also revealed is that we didn't have a backup plan. So we do have a backup plan now, and I want you to know we're attacking the problem. We started troubleshooting last night, and even tomorrow morning, we're going to have a professional come in and take a look at what we've got to help us kind of get on top of that, because we don't want that to happen again, because essentially, all of our preparation and all of our work for Mother's Day just couldn't get out like it should get out. So it was rough, but apologies for that, and we're doing the best we can, but we've met our match. This Sunday, Naomi Lowe will be with us. She's missionary. We had missions conference planned. We spoke to that a couple times in the past, but because of COVID-19, she won't be coming. So we're going to pre-record, and we'll show that on Sunday. It's basically going to be a conversation between she and I. But that's coming this Sunday, and then out a little more is May 24. I will be out, but Jeff Doringer will be sharing with us. He's serving the district. He is a fantastic guy. You're really going to enjoy what he's going to bring. He's going to talk to us about hearing from God and hearing his voice. Very helpful stuff, very helpful stuff. So anyway, last Wednesday, I talked to you about the SDI, Strength Deployment Inventory, and I showed you I was at my desk and showed you the kind of the triangle, the blue, the green, and the red, and talked about the gifts that are here at Cross Point. And I told you I want to talk to you a little bit about some identity, who we are, and just some helpful body talk, Cross Point body talk. So that's the family of God. I want to talk today about two primary groups. We're one family, but we have kind of two groups at Cross Point, and the groups that I'm talking about, I'm going to reference Titus chapter 2. I'm going to flip my phone, and I want to read from Titus chapter 2. Okay? Titus 2, verse 2. Older men are to be sober-minded, dignified, self-controlled, sound in faith and love and steadfastness. Older women likewise are to be reverent in behavior, not slanderers or slaves to much wine. They are to teach what is good, and so train the young women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled, pure, working at home, kind, and submissive to their own husbands, that the word of God may not be reviled. Likewise, urge the younger men to be self-controlled. Always thought that was a little funny because older men, older women, younger women, and then the younger men just have one thing they need to conquer, and that is self-control. But the two groups then are the older generation, and then there's the younger generation. And I want to talk about that for just a little bit. So we are blessed at Cross Point to have a beautiful spread in age, from people in their 80s to really kids that aren't even born yet, little bitty children. And so with younger people, we'll talk about the younger people first. The younger generation brings a lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of drive, a lot of ideas, a lot of push, and sometimes a lot of vision about what could be. And especially today, with things changing so rapidly, younger people are often able to help us kind of figure out how to communicate today, especially through social media and things like that. Just different ways of communicating. All of those are things that younger people bring to the table and are incredibly valuable and needed and necessary as part of the family of God. Some of the things that younger people can't bring is experience, knowledge that comes with experience, Wisdom, not saying that those things aren't possessed. It's just that it's harder for a younger person. I'm talking someone in their 20s and 30s, possibly 40s. Let's not get into that too much. I'm in my 40s. So, but that's what younger people can bring. But they also bring teachability. And the younger people that I know are super hungry for discipleship, learning, training. Like they want to know how to do it, how to follow Jesus, how to order their lives. They really, really do. They want to know how these things work. Now, the reality is that a Sunday morning message will help a little bit, but a lot of those questions are best answered in a non-church Sunday morning context. And so that's kind of the younger group. Let me transition real quick to the older group for a second here. Okay, like Titus says in chapter 2, that actually the older men and the older women are supposed to be doing a lot of teaching. And I don't think, that includes like formal teaching from a lectern, but my sense is the majority of that teaching takes place in informal contexts. For instance, a home or a non-Sunday morning type setting. Now that might challenge, depending on where you're at, that might challenge some of the thinking, but a lot of those things can best be taught in a home setting or over a meal or just life on life, doing things together, which if we're limiting, and of course we're not, but if we're limiting our discipleship and our interaction and our intergenerational interaction to the Sunday morning blast, well, guess what? We haven't been able to do that for about 2 months. And what's more, even when we are doing it, it's extremely limited. Like there's only so much you can do in a Sunday morning context, but there's a lot more you can do in homes. And so I just want to challenge, number one, I want to challenge our younger people. Crosspoint younger people, who is that? People in their 30s, 20s and 30s, teens, 20s and 30s. Intentionally press in to the older generation, seek them out, inquire, ask them questions, get in their business, like hang out with them, because they have a lot of experience and they have a lot of perspective that younger people just don't have by virtue of not having been on the earth that long. So I want to challenge younger people to intentionally reach out and connect to older people and to be teachable. I think we know this, that to know technology does not mean that you know how to live well. Actually, there's a massive difference between the two. You can be smart with a smartphone, but it doesn't mean you know how to order your life. It doesn't mean you know how to bring Jesus into the nooks and the crannies of your life. So, one for younger people. For older people, I want to challenge you guys, older people, I'll just say for purposes of this discussion, it could be 40s, 50s, 60s, on up. Or you pick your demographic. If you feel young, I guess you're young. But older people intentionally pursue relationships with younger people. Absolutely. It goes both ways. In fact, biblically, the older people are supposed to be seeking out the younger people, pouring into them, investing. And again, I would not think that only happens on a Sunday morning because, well, one, again, we can't do that right now, but we can't do homes either. But I want to challenge you to think about connecting with young people in the home or in a context other than the official church service. Now, share a passage with you that I had to prepare a message on when I was in college, and it was a King James kind of college. So I'm going to read from the King James from Luke chapter, I'm going to flip my phone, Luke chapter 16, verse 9. Okay, here we go. And I say unto you, make to yourselves friends of the mammon of unrighteousness, that when ye fail, they may receive you into everlasting habitations. Now, we don't use that language anymore, but basically here it is. Use money to invest in people so that when you get to heaven, those people that you invested in will come up to you and thank you and receive you. That's the paraphrase, Luke 16:9. I want to urge both generations to use resources to invest in one another. And I think one of the best ways, one of the easiest ways to do that is to have people over. which we can't do right now. I get it. But again, I challenge both younger people press into older people press into younger people, and actually it's the older people who are biblically to carry the weight of that relationship. And sometimes it means, we might want to adapt and change some things up. But so that's my talk to you for this Wednesday. I realize I'm probably past 10 minutes now, but again, challenge and encouragement to use our resources to invest in one another, because people last forever. Buildings and tools do not. All right, thanks, guys. We'll see you, Lord willing, this Sunday, hopefully with great audio. All right, take care. Love you bunches. Bye.